Korn Ferry Tour member Luke Kwon joined the pod this week to share his incredible journey after leaving college and what it took to literally get him back to the U.S. just to play golf.
Born in South Korea, but a citizen of New Zealand, he dominated the tours over there, and he's looking to bring it back to the States.
All that and more next on Rough Fairways. Well, he's Luke Kwon. He's 28. He is from Seoul, South Korea. He played his collegiate golf at Oklahoma, graduating in 2016. Now, Luke, what was it like playing golf at a college football powerhouse?
Well, I can definitely say, because I went to a small D2 school my first year, so there was a stark contrast between the two. Definitely a lot more money in the program. Obviously, you have the football and the experience around that we can go to all the home games for free, and it helps that we were in a program that had a good football team, so we were winning quite often. So it was fun. It was a fun experience compared to not having it when I was in my D2 school.
Was it pretty much just everybody who was a football guy was applauded and nobody else knew who any of the other athletes were in the other sports? Or
honestly, pretty much football and basketball, and then we were just a bunch of the nobodies.
Like, oh, we have a golf team.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, but that's what's crazy though is Oklahoma. You guys are a good golf school, like Oklahoma, Texas, Big 12. You guys just battled it out. Like, what's the biggest rivalry? Is it OU Texas football or OU Texas golf?
Well, I would argue it's more OU versus Oklahoma State rivalry for golf. I mean, Texas as well a little bit, but I just throughout history, I just feel like OU never really was up there until kind of recently when Coach Hibble came in and turned the program around. So just kind of getting in the same conversation with Oklahoma State, where they've been so dominant throughout history. I think that's more of the rivalry going on. It's really cool to see what Hibble's done with the program and turn it around. And I mean, shoot, we're up there. I mean, we're ranked number one right now, and that's usually where Oklahoma State's been over history.
Nice.
That is awesome. And so you left in 2016, right? A year before, right before you left them, or before they won the NCAAs. But how many guys did you play with that were on that team?
I want to say all of them, actually. The one that won the national championship.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
Awesome. What's your earliest memory from playing golf?
Earliest memory. That's probably in New Zealand, where my dad took me out to the driving range a couple times. It was just a driving range. We were just hitting some balls. And I was just out there just having fun, not taking it seriously or anything. But I grew up in New Zealand a few years. I think a total of like 6 years when I was younger, and turned out to be a very a good thing that I grew up there younger, because I ended up being able to use that later in my life. But yeah.
When did you come stateside? Just for school, or did your family move over here?
Yeah, my family moved over here. Well, we kind of went back. It's a little bit confusing, but I was born in Korea. I left when I was 2 years old, and I don't have any memory of Korea at all.
Sure.
And went to New Zealand, and then I went to Houston for like, I don't know, maybe a year or two or something like that, and then went back to New Zealand for a little bit longer, and then I went to Dallas for the majority of my life. So that was when I was around 8 or 7 to Dallas.
So you've been over here for quite a bit then.
Yeah, for the vast majority of my life.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Did you get recruited by Texas?
No, I wasn't hardly recruited at all. Nobody really wanted me, honestly. Oklahoma was kind of the big fish out of nowhere. I was like, sure. Yeah, of course.
So you did D2, and then did Oklahoma recruit you, or did you walk on?
No, so Oklahoma was recruiting me, and they just weren't really giving me enough scholarship that my dad wanted. I was all about it, but my dad was like, yeah, we could probably get more scholarship somewhere else or something. But so they had already kind of talked to me before I went to the D2 school, and then I was hoping to try to transfer up to OU, hoping to get more of a scholarship. I actually ended up going to OU with the same amount of scholarship I would have had in the first place. But yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I say you come from a golf family, or
No. Well, I mean, my dad plays for fun. He doesn't really
sure.
play that much every right now, but he'd just go smack some balls on the range, play some holes in the course back then, just for fun.
I want to go back to New Zealand. So are you a citizen over there? Is that what
I'm a permanent resident.
you're a permanent resident over there? And that's what you mean
Yeah.
by it kind of helps you out later on to go back over
Yeah,
there to play golf. And
exactly.
okay,
Exactly.
gotcha. So golf in New Zealand, what's that like? I mean, is there any kind of tour, professional tours over there?
There is a tour. It's so there is a tour. But the one that I was playing when I got there, they're all pro-ams. So kind of smaller events. You're playing with three other amateurs and kind of shooting the shit after the rounds and all that. But they do have some bigger ones where it's called the Charles Tour events, and they got bigger money in that, bigger name players playing those. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad, honestly. I mean, the country is so small in population that I guess I go over there and I'm kind of the big fish almost. So it's nice having easier competition and still some money to play for. So
Have you played Cape Kidnappers? That's one of my bucket list courses.
I wish during the time I was there I would have explored and played more courses, but no, I didn't do any of that.
Oh, every time I see a picture from Cape Kidnappers, it just looks so awesome.
It looks unreal. That whole country is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So junior golf there, were you big into junior golf? Were you competitive as a kid? Did you like grab the club and just immediately fall in love with the game, or did it take some time?
Well, I actually never played tournaments until I was like 12. So when I was in New Zealand, I didn't do any tournaments. I mean, I guess you could say I was a junior golfer, but I, didn't play anything. It was just for fun.
Sure.
So yeah, so New Zealand, I didn't play anything, but when I turned 12, I was in Dallas. Started taking it seriously there. Started playing some local stuff.
When did you start feeling like you were like good? Like what got you into start playing competitively when you're 12 and stuff?
What's funny is that it was the complete opposite for me, because I thought I was good before I played my first tournament. I played my first tournament and I turned out to be basically dead last. And so I realized I'm really not good. And so I needed to kind of put in the work and not ever do that again. So
Nice.
That's kind of what got me started.
It's good motivation.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of, I mean, you said you kind of, when you were a kid, just, hitting balls with your dad and stuff. What kind of golf parents did you have?
I'm lucky that I didn't have the stereotypical Asian parents that are like super strict with their kids, and I don't know all the stuff that they would do. They'd kind of, I guess, like live through their kids or whatever. But
Sure.
I didn't have that. Like my parents were actually on the opposite side, where I was kind of working so hard those first few years. When I started taking it seriously, my parents were kind of like, dude, you need to chill out. Like, you're in the sun for way too long. You're out there for way too long. Like, you're going a little bit crazy.
So since you didn't live in Korea that long, do you have much like cultural connection over there?
No, I can't speak Korean, but for some reason I can understand it.
Sure.
I can't read or write it, nothing. But
my wife and I were watching one of the LPGA events, and she asked me a question, and I really couldn't figure it out, like why it seems like the LPGA is so very well dominated by Asian women, and there's not really that many Asian men on the PGA. And I really couldn't figure out, the difference. And
I honestly can't really figure it out either. I feel like women's golf, you could probably get away with having less of a short game, because all they do is just stripe it down the fairways, stripe it on the green somewhere, and like they never really have to chip the whole lot. And I don't know. I've always wondered that too. I never really could figure out why that was.
Yeah,
I did recently learn though that I recently learned that the KLPGA makes more money than the KPGA in Korea,
Oh, really?
which I guess,
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like backwards over there.
Well, I was kind of wondering, like, was there a really strong male tour over there, and that's why the more Asian women have come into the LPGA, and maybe more of the Asian men have stayed over there. But it was definitely an interesting contrast in nationalities between the two tours.
Yeah, I'm not really quite sure what that is, what the reasoning is, but
Yeah, they can play.
yeah,
That's some impressive golf either way.
yeah.
I always wondered how detrimental it was to see those overbearing parents anywhere you play golf. Like I used to teach a lot of juniors when I was 30 years old, and I, the junior worlds were in San Diego, and the course that I taught at was one of the hosts courses for the 7 and 8-year-old kids. And you would see all of these overbearing parents come in and just hound their kids. And I just looked at their faces on these little kids, like, I'm here just because of my mom and dad, made me here.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I always wonder, I hope they're still playing golf. I hope they don't hate the game because of their parents.
Yeah.
I think that's common in most sports, because I know I played baseball growing up, and my parents weren't overbearing, but I had friends who had the parents that were, and I don't know a single one of them that gives two shits about the sport anymore, because they just hate it.
No, exactly. Well, like, that's kind of what I've always thought too, is that, like, you have those parents that do that. I mean, once they go off to college, your parents are going to stick around to do the same thing. Like,
Right.
I don't. It's odd to me that that you're not going to always have your parents there, or you as a parent there, to keep like pushing them or whatever. Like, once they go off to college, they're not going to want to do it anymore because they don't have this, like, thing making them do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime I hear someone ask for advice, I got my 8-year-old, I'm like, just let them have fun, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, reward them when they play well, maybe a pointer or two, but the moment they're not having fun, they're doing it for you, not for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Happened to Michelle Wee.
Yeah.
What'd you yeah, go ahead, Mike.
2019 PGA Tour China. Eddie and I were trying to figure out how to pronounce the tournament.
That you won. So will you help us out there?
If I was never in that city, I would have no clue either. But it's pronounced Qinghuangdao.
Qinghuangdao. Okay.
Qinghuangdao.
Yeah.
We couldn't get the QIN.
I would never know either.
Yeah.
So take us there. So you graduate college in 2016, and your student visa is about to run out. It seemed like 2016, 2017 had to have been like the most challenging professional, maybe personal life of your entire life. Like, walk us through kind of the emotions and what happened after you graduated, and how and just what happened.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff to this. Yeah. So since I was born in Korea, that's kind of where the problem starts. I made my first mistake there. I wasn't a citizen of the US or had any, I wasn't a green card holder or anything. So I applied for a green card. I don't know. I think like when I first entered the US. So like when I was like 8, and I waited for 13 years and waiting for a green card, and I never got it. Turned 21. And once you turn 21, you can't be a dependent on your parents' visa anymore. So basically, even if my application did get to whoever is going through this massive pile of applications that apparently last 13 years, it wouldn't have mattered because I turned 21 anyways. So at that point, I switched over to a student visa. And essentially what you're doing when you say you're a student is, hey, I'm only here to study. And then I'm, doing something else after that. So but it's just odd in my case because I've been here for 13 years before that. So
right.
But that was kind of the only way to kind of really stay in the US legally and kind of figure a way out from there. But I knew graduating college that I had a big roadblock coming up ahead of me, and one of the ways that I could kind of get over this roadblock was to get through Q school at Korn Ferry Tour, because that would get me an athlete visa, which is a little bit ridiculous to think that you can only get the athlete visa if you're PGA Tour or Korn Ferry Tour straight out of college. That, you know, obviously the person that made that rule doesn't know golf, but
Right. It's just so easy. You just roll right through.
yeah, exactly.
And they wouldn't
But
consider that a working visa. It's called an athlete's visa. I've never
athlete
heard of
visa.
that.
That's
Wow.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a specially talented athlete or artist or something kind of visa. And so I knew that was one of the options. Obviously, I could get like a working visa and go get some office job, but I just didn't really have any desire to do that. Nor did I even really know if that was even a like a sure thing. Like, number one, I would have to quit golf to do that, and also number two, I don't even know if that's even going to work. So yeah, I went into Q school knowing that, you know, this is my, at the time, what I thought was my one and only shot at kind of staying in the US. And obviously, if you know, golf is hard enough as is, and you kind of put that kind of pressure on yourself, it just makes it that much harder.
Right.
Didn't make it through first stage. And I remember being on the plane, going back home, the tears in my eyes, and not knowing what the heck I'm going to do at that point. Because I felt like I just missed my shot. I missed my one chance to kind of clear everything ahead of me and make things simple for me, and I just didn't do it. And so I remember I wrote down.
Was this on the plane back to Korea, or was it to
Dallas?
New Zealand?
To Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like
you're not immediately kicked out.
Yeah. You have like a leeway time period.
Gotcha.
Where you can kind of like, I don't know, reapply for a different visa or something like that. But I was on a plane ride going back from Nebraska to Dallas, and I wrote in my phone, it's impossible to lose if you don't give up, because I felt like at the time I lost. Obviously, I didn't succeed the mission that I had at the time. But I knew if I didn't quit, there was something else I can kind of figure out. But at the time, God, I felt like there was literally nothing I could do. I felt like that was my only chance, and I had never even thought of even really any other path or anything. I felt really hopeless at the time. Locked myself in my room for about 2 weeks because I was just honestly so scared about what the heck was going to happen. I had no clue what to do. And on top of that, I didn't really have a whole lot of money going into that. And obviously Q school is also a big expense. It's about $5,000 to go into Q school, not even counting travel expenses. And so I had kind of just two huge problems in terms of me continuing to play golf. I didn't know how to stay in the country, and I also didn't have a whole lot of money. And I was stuck in kind of like this catch-22 where, you know, I needed to find some investors, but in order for me to find investors, I need to go play tournaments. But I couldn't play in tournaments unless I found the investors. And so, like, you know, like one or the other had to give in that scenario. And for a while, I just could not figure out what the heck to do. I think even like 2017, I didn't play any tournaments in 2017. I started working as a four caddy. I had an apartment at the time, and I was trying. My idea was, I was at this club that had a lot of like rich members or whatever, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll just go four caddy, be around all these rich members, and maybe I'll just, you know, find someone somewhere. Turned out I was running like 8 miles every time I went out, and I was pretty much just spinning my wheels, like just paying for rent, and wasn't able to play in tournaments, too tired to even practice. And all the while watching my friend Charlie Saxon, that also played at OU with me, you know, I was watching his scores on PGA Tour China, and he's over here like every single time I open the app, he's you know, top 5, top 3, like about to win every single week. I'm like, dude, like I was just playing with this guy in college, like, and he's over there pretty much almost having a chance to win every single week. Like, what the heck am I doing here, sitting in this caddy shack, for caddying,
Did you ever
and just
get
spinning my
jealous?
wheels here?
You ever get jealous?
I didn't get jealous, because Charlie's he's one of my favorite human beings on the planet, but I didn't get jealous. Like, I was really happy for him, but I just felt this feeling of like, I'm not in the right place right now. And I could not shake that feeling. Even though, like, there were these two like opposing sides in my mind where like I could not shake this feeling that I'm in the wrong place. I need to be playing golf. I know I'm good enough for golf. But at the same time, you're insane for thinking that you're going to be playing golf right now when you can't even stay in the country. You have no funding. I mean, what are you doing thinking about trying to play golf?
Did seeing him be successful kind of get you the kick in the ass that you
Oh
may have
yeah.
needed and kind of be
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, if he can do it, I can do it?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I mean, he was saying it to me. Like, he was like, dude, you need to be over here in PGA through China. He knows my game. I mean, we played with each other all the time. So
Right.
he knows that my ball striking is kind of the strength of my game. He's like, this is the tour that you need to be playing. Like, it's made for you. And so he was telling me that for a while, and fast forward a few months, and obviously this whole time I was trying to figure out, how do I get the funding to go over to China? Because I was like, okay, China is probably the route to go. I just need to find the means to be able to do it. This is so stupid just looking back at it, but I remember making like this flyer on some paper. I went to Office Depot and printed out like 500 of them or whatever. I put down on the flyer like my resume, my golf resume, a little bit of my story, and like how my investment structure would be. Just trying to get like some random investor in. And I, put a little rubber band on it, and I started walking around and putting it on some houses, thinking this is so stupid. Like, this is not going to work. But if literally one person does it, it could potentially be all I need.
Right. You just need one yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember doing that for a while. Obviously nothing happened, but I learned something from that, where I was kind of on the right track in trying to get the eyeballs and get the attention to find someone to help me out. But it was too active. Like, I was trading my time to actively go out there and hang the flyers and do all this stuff. And it was taking time away from me potentially practicing or working as a four caddy, getting some money or whatever. And so I kind of just sat on that for a little bit. A couple months go by, and I'm watching YouTube, just I don't know, just kind of bored. And there was this guy that I was watching. It's not even like golf related. It was like some guy that was like selling, or so talking about some like self-help or like workout stuff. And I could see, like, I was just watching his videos over and over again. Like, I watched like, binge watched a bunch of them, and I could kind of see like every single video had the same structure. It was the same thing over and over again, just different topics. And I was like, wait a minute, I could do the same thing that he's doing and just put a golf twist to it. And that could potentially get me enough eyeballs where I could find some investors. I could sell some e-courses like he is, and potentially find the funding to go play in China and all that. And I thought that was just an insane idea, on top of just all the stuff going on in my life. My visa was running out in about 10 months. And here I am, just like thinking about starting a YouTube channel, basically, to fund my way into playing PGA through China. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I actually think this is a good idea. I actually think this is going to work. And what I was doing with the flyers, I could do passively while I'm sleeping. So I had a little bit of money left, bought some camera gear, bought a drone, went into like all the website stuff and paid like a website guy and all this stuff. And I had absolutely no clue if this was even going to work. But in my mind, it was like, it's either this or golf's just not happening because I just don't have the means for it. So
Were you ready to, after the YouTube, say it didn't work? Like, were you ready? Like, okay, this is it. This is the last shot.
yeah,
If I can't do
yeah,
anything, I'm done with golf.
yeah.
Yeah.
My thought is because at that point when I was starting going down that rabbit hole of YouTube and all that, I was like, okay, I'm pretty set on I'm gonna leave the US. I'm gonna go live in New Zealand. And if it doesn't work, I can go get a job there. Like, who cares? Like, I can get a job here, job there. What's the difference? It's the same thing. But if I don't give this a shot for golf, I won't get the shot again. And yeah, no, I was completely like okay with the idea of if this doesn't work, it's over. So
It's a lot of pressure on yourself for giving up your dream, right? That like that maybe out of body experience where you're like, gosh, if this doesn't work out, my dream is.
yeah, but
But you kept going, obviously.
I kept going. I feel like there's something like, this is weird, but I feel like there's something to the fact that when you're ready to like let go of something or give up something, something good ends up happening. Like that's I feel like that's usually when something like flips around because you're
If you
not
love it, let it
so
go, right?
yeah, exactly. Because it just like
Maybe I should
yeah,
take that
you're
approach to putting.
no, yeah,
Hey, win
yeah,
in.
Yeah, you don't like putting, Mike. Go on, Luke.
yeah, just like detaching yourself from the result. Like if it happens, it happens. Just kind of letting it go. But so yeah, and then in late 2017, I was golly, just working my ass off like throughout the night, all day. I would bring my laptop into the caddy shack to work on parts of the website, to like the courses that I was selling or whatever, like working on it while I was waiting around in the caddy shack and just like going all out because I just, again, like if this doesn't work, it's over. And so I remember I launched the first product and got a decent amount of money there. I was like, oh wow, this is actually like I was actually onto something and I'm correct here. So then I started making more videos and now I had to go play tournaments just to kind of like prep myself into, playing tournaments again and going over to China and doing what I was going to do over there. And then also making the videos at the same time because I knew that the videos I can make wherever, like I wasn't just tied down to one location like I was with the four caddying. So I started doing that. I actually have no idea how I did all that in such a short period of time and play golf and make those programs that I did and all the behind the scenes stuff with the visa application and I was also like trying to get like contract stuff with like investors, to help me out with the expenses in China and all that. All this stuff was going on. And in my mind, I knew that the whole purpose of this is, I think it was like September 23rd or something like that. I was going to go leave to New Zealand. So that day comes around and I'm putting out this video announcing basically the whole point of this whole channel was this moment where I'm leaving now and I'm trying to, play my way back into the US. And it was the whole time when I was going through that, kind of weird because I put a person onto a thing that probably isn't really a person, but I just felt like I came this far with golf for some person on a desk looking at a piece of paper saying, hey, yeah, you're not good enough for golf. Like, no, you don't get to choose when I get to quit. I choose that. And I just remember that like fueling me the whole way of like, this whoever that person is looking at the application paper is not going to tell me that I'm not good enough. So made that video, left to New Zealand, and kind of had a pretty crazy response to that video where everyone was like, wow, I didn't, see this coming. Like, this was the whole, what everything was working up to.
Anyone ever stop you on the course and be like, hey, it's the YouTube guy?
Honestly, it's crazy. People were coming up to me in New Zealand. I played a Corn Ferry tour in Panama. Someone came up to me. I played a Corn Ferry in Colombia. Someone came up to me. Like all over, like not all over, but like some places in China. Like it's actually insane how many people
Come
are
up to
there.
you and be like, hey, Luke, thanks for the YouTube golf lesson. I shaved like 2 strokes off my game. You're brilliant.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's not really. Yeah, I mean, it's just the reach that it's had is honestly more than I ever thought to even. I never even thought it was going to do that.
Yeah.
Nor was that even really the purpose of it, but yeah, but they're everywhere. And then went down to New Zealand. Played a couple of those New Zealand PGA events and all those pro-ams, and it was nice having a lot easier competition down there, and was able to kind of fund my living expenses from those tournaments for a while, and then went over to PGA Tour China. Had food poisoning like 5 out of my first 5 weeks. I started getting scared of eating. Yeah, I was legit scared of eating at that point. I was like, I don't know what it is, but I just don't want to eat anymore. So, but
it was different than you expected when you went over there.
Honestly, I thought they would have good Wi-Fi, but they had terrible Wi-Fi over there. Wi-Fi was terrible. Yeah. And I didn't realize how big of a factor Wi-Fi is in terms of my travels. I actually really liked the golf courses. I didn't really like being in China, like just like the day-to-day stuff in China, but because of all the food stuff. But the courses are great. Like it's just like fairway, tighter-ish fairways, a little bit of rough, and then just junk on both sides, just jungle. And it's not even marked. So it's not like, oh, you hit a bad shot, you're in the jungle, you come up here and take a drop. No, you hit the same shot again that you just hit. And I loved it because it was like, all I got to do is just keep the ball in play, and I'm just gaining half a stroke over and over again. Just, all I got to do is just keep it in play. So I love that kind of golf course over there.
Now, was Charlie, did he stay on tour when you came over, and did you guys just basically dominate together, or?
So I went over to China for the last 3 events of 2018. So for those last 3 events, I did have Charlie. I Monday qualified in, just played the last 3, but I did that just because I was on the way to New Zealand. I just figured, why not? But when I played in 2019, no, Charlie was on the Corn Ferry Tour. Yeah, because he got second on the money list in China.
So you went over there. He comes over here. You guys are just swapping in the middle of the sky and everything. And
exactly,
yeah.
Exactly.
So I did come
over to PGA Tour China at the same time as Max and Greavy, though. He won the money list 2019.
Okay, and you were 5th that year.
5th that year.
And that gave you full Corn Ferry status for 2020.
Full. I mean,
full in quotes, right? Yeah, it's always conditional, right?
Yeah.
But that means you could choose you could play any event that you wanted, correct?
No.
Okay.
So it's better than before, but it's still not all that great. So basically what I essentially got for finishing 5th was I got a chance to play the first 4 events, which really ended up turning out to be 2 out of the first 4 events, and that's it. But with those 2 out of the first 4 events, if I played well in those 2, I could reshuffle into a higher category, and I can kind of keep the ball rolling from there. But if I didn't, which I didn't, it wasn't a whole lot.
So after the 2, you didn't play well enough to get into it. Did you lose your status entirely?
No, you don't lose your status entirely, but your positioning on the list of players is further down than what you probably want it to be. So I got into the third and fourth event, but I want to say third and fourth event. I didn't get into like the next one or the next two, but I got into like the sixth and seventh or something like that. Made a little bit of points there, but just not really enough to make a big of a difference. But eventually later on in the summer, since you're further into the season, more guys just want to like take their time off. And so that kind of brings up the list further and further up so that guys like me end up getting in. If that makes sense. The
Yeah,
whole
it does.
Yeah, you're
Corey
on
status
a
stuff.
you're on a stack rank basically, and
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When you were playing well that year in 2019, like what do you feel in golf? Like in the zone, if you will. Do you feel anything? Does golf just seem super easy? I mean, you were kind of referred to the competition wasn't that hard. Were you the Tiger Woods of the PGA Tour 2019, China?
Maybe not so much PGA through China, but New Zealand PGA a little bit. I mean, a little bit more. Just I don't know. You're not really thinking so much about what could go wrong. You're kind of just like, most of my shots are going to go somewhere here, and they're mostly going to be okay. And you end up dropping a couple more putts than usual, and you happen to shoot like 5 or 6 under without even really, feeling like you did a whole lot. But a lot of it's really like the difference of knowing you're not going to have that big miss out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Versus playing around scared of that big miss the whole time.
It's like you're almost playing carefree, really. Like with zero pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said ball striking's your strength. When you're playing really well, what else turns on for you? Is it putting? Is it something else?
Yeah, it's a little bit of the putting. I love bent grass greens. So typically on bent grass greens, I'll play better. I just feel like on Bermuda, I just try to just ball strike the place and try not to have too many chips because I'm going to leave myself 6-footers over and over again on Bermuda grass, which I don't like. So putting, iron play has always kind of been, one of my stronger suits. And I guess just general ball striking, T-ball and iron play. But it sounds like I'm saying just the whole game. The whole game just feels a little bit better.
Always good.
How much of it for you is mental and course management?
A lot. I've always had this like perspective of you get to a tee box, there's water left, bunkers right, and it's like 50 yards wide, 6 yards wide, just the standard width or whatever. But am I frozen?
There you go.
No. 50 yards wide, 6 yards wide. But it's like you step on the range and you look at what 50, 60 yards wide looks like, and you're like, dude, I could do this all day. Like, it's not an issue.
Right.
It's like the perspective of like literally nothing has changed as you're on this tee-ball that you're scared of. You're using the same clubs you've always used. Same ball. It's not like the rules of gravity has changed for this one shot. Literally everything single thing is the same. The only thing that's different is what value you're putting on it mentally.
Right.
This shot is just like means more to you in your head, and that's the only difference. It's kind of having that perspective and then going out there and realizing, hey, you've done this before, just do it again, keep doing it.
Yeah. Why is golf? What's that 5-minute moment that you have with yourself when you leave the range and you go to the first tee? Something that happens mentally where you just, like you said, you can do it all day on the range. There's nothing of consequence, and then you get on the course and there is consequence.
Yeah. It's like this weird, I'm almost saying two completely opposite things that you're doing, but you're trying to produce a good result, but also at the same time, detaching yourself from the result.
Yeah. Do you think that separates like elite players from good players on tour? Like you're,
I think so.
yeah,
I think so.
I
It's like
agree.
it's the ability to step up on whatever circumstance, fair tee shot, approach shot, tucked flag, whatever, and just being like, okay, let's just hit the same shot I've been hitting this whole time, and kind of turning yourself into a little robot and just not, you
Right.
know, putting too much value on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading something about I think it was Brad Faxon was putting once at a tournament, and he was just like off in a section of the green with no holes. Didn't even have like a tee to putt to. He was just putting balls to nowhere. And someone asked him, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just practicing not caring." He goes, "There's no hole. There's no, he goes, I need to step up to a putt and not have a consequence with it. And I'm just practicing not caring."
I mean, it's the reason why if you have a 6-foot putt for bogey that doesn't really matter, and your partner's already made the par, and you go up there and whack it in, like that's the reason why it goes in, because you just don't care. Like there's no consequences to it.
Putter really bad when you go back and do it again and it goes in, and
exactly. Second man's good.
Well, it's amazing what your peers will do to you. Like Rory's on record saying that he literally tried to hit the ball further because of what he saw Bryson do to the US Open, and that it's become a detriment to his own game. And it's like Rory, it's like, I think like his friend said, "You're Rory fucking McIlroy."
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why are you letting one of your peers affect your own mental outlook? And it just, it's amazing that there's so much outside noise from peers, from teachers.
Well, and the crazy part about all that is he's not a short hitter.
No,
he's
not.
He's already a monster off the tee. Yeah,
but
exactly.
It's just amazing what the effect does. Luke, where do you see the game of golf going in 5 to 10 years?
Oh man, 10 years.
Do you think we have a distance problem that a couple people keep talking about?
I don't see why it's a problem though, because it's such a small percentage of golfers, and if it is a problem, just either grow up the rough or grow up the fairway so it doesn't roll as much, or water the fairways more. I don't see why the whole ball thing doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, agreed.
I do think distance is going to be a factor for the next 5-10 years.
Right.
It's gonna,
well, the thing that bothers me about it is they're acting like it's an equipment problem. Like, no, we have super fit cut dudes playing golf. Like it's biomechanical problem. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like we have these technology that we can, strap these guys into these things that measure every body movement angles and everything at certain parts of the swing. And you have all this information now that we've got it down to a science of this is how you hit the ball further, and it's proven. And it's not really equipment. It's we've found the more efficient way to swing a golf club.
Yeah. We're maximizing the human. I mean, 10 years ago, if I said, "Hey, what do you think about ground forces?" You'd have been like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
5 to 10 years, we're gonna.
I'm really hoping they don't do something with the equipment. That's gonna bother me.
No, they're going to. They're going to be like, you know what? The PGA Tour is now using hickory shafts, using hickory balls.
Now I'll watch that though.
We're going to go back to the gutta percha. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. It would be kind of cool to have like a hickory tournament. It'll never happen, but I mean, maybe Rough Fairways can start a hickory league. Who knows? I don't know.
No, we were going to do the was it the Muni Tour?
The Muni Tour. Yeah, we always want to go into and travel on each city, Luke. And instead of playing the mini tour, you play the Muni Tour. You go, you knock on the local munis and be like, "Hey, I'm here for the Muni Tour." Just play the Muni Tour and be like, "Hey, is that Luke Kwon? I've seen him on YouTube. Come on down."
Yeah. I mean, that'd be good for local business.
You have such a candid answer about your whole story, and it's amazing what you went through. So what have you learned about yourself from playing the game of golf?
Well, I guess I didn't really quite finish the story. So I went over
We
to
got
China.
time. We got time.
Yeah. I went to China. Had food poisoning the first few weeks, but I ended up winning the 5th event on the tour schedule, which is that place that you couldn't pronounce, Qinhuangdao, which put me in a really solid spot for the rest of the year. And it kind of, again, like kind of freed me up where I didn't have this big burden on my shoulders where I was like 30th on the money list. Like, dude, you got to freaking play your way back and you're only 30th, like do something. So actually seeing my name on the money list where it was 5th on the money list after that win, obviously winning on the tournament, having that validation of I'm good enough on this tour helped as well. Like it's just a lot of things just kind of played a factor into that. But yeah, won that 5th event on the tour schedule. I think I moved up to like 4th for a long time for the whole season. And then the final event was bumped down to 5th. But man, that final event was probably the most nervous I've ever been in my whole golf career because there's just so much on the line there. But in terms of like what I learned that year,
What was on the line for that 5th event? If you were in a good spot from your win,
I was in a good spot visa wise. I think I was pretty locked up, but I was just mentally, I was like, top 10 is not good enough anymore. I want to stay top 5. And for some reason, I think mentally, like thought top 5 was the visa, not top 10. I don't know. I don't know why I kind of mentally veered that direction, but I really wanted to just kind of stay top 5 because if I was 6th, I technically didn't have like the chance to play as many Korn Ferry events as the 5th guy. It's a pretty steep drop off.
Top 5 just sounds cooler anyways. Nobody's like, hey,
True.
I got top 6.
True. Yeah. No, exactly. But I do remember the second event on the tour. It was in a place called Sanya, and I missed the cut there. But during the second round, I wasn't playing all that great. I was probably near-ish the cut line. I still had to, play a phenomenal back 9 because I just wasn't really playing all that well. But I could feel myself just kind of like giving up a little bit. I was like, all right, this is the week where I'm going to miss the cut. Like, and I like caught myself. I was like, dude, what are you doing? You're literally playing to come back to the US and you're giving up on a round. Where's the dog in you? And I remember that saying being a thing that I would tell myself over and over again, basically the whole season. If I needed to sack up for a shot or, if I had to birdie 2 out of the last 4 coming in, I remember saying it in Qinhuangdao where I had to finish birdie for what I thought was a chance to get into a playoff. And I remember walking off after I made a double bogey, telling myself, where's the dog in you? Where's the dog in you? And I just feel like I've learned that when my back's against the wall, I'm pretty fucking good.
That's a great quote. So I love that.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do a fun little. You're gonna be our maiden voyage here on Rough Fairways. We're gonna do rapid fire with you real quick. We got 10 quick questions for you.
Oh boy.
These are really simple. They're mostly golf related. Well, actually, they're pretty much all golf related, really.
first thing that comes to mind.
Luke Kwon, are you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Favorite club in your bag?
Pitch and wedge.
Dog leg right, dog leg left?
Absolutely dog leg right.
Okay. Front pin or back pin?
Back pin.
You can only play one course forever. What course is it?
Ooh. The hills in Queenstown, New Zealand.
Draw or fade?
Fade all day.
Would you rather play in the wind or rain? You can only play in one.
Wind.
Oh, you're psycho.
Rain sucks.
Oh,
Rain's
okay.
horrible.
Oh man. I'd rather play in rain, but that's okay. You have a 300-yard hole. A thick rough is on the left, water on the right. You go for it, you lay up.
Definitely go for it.
Attaboy. You could play golf with anybody. Who would it be?
I don't even know if he plays golf, but Elon Musk.
Okay.
Good answer.
Shout
Like
out, shout out Doge.
Yeah.
Links style course or tree line course?
I hate links courses, tree line.
This is the fun one. If you could change one rule in golf, what would it be?
Ball and divot in fairway is a free drop.
There it is. Hey, that's the rough
Has to-
fairways. That's the rough fairways rapid fire. But what's funny about that, you said that, Luke, is that we I forget what podcast it was, but we had somebody on and we were talking about rules, and Mike is all about that exact rule.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your bunker analogy? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, it's, I mean, we rake bunkers back into their condition they're in. We fix divots on the green, but you can pipe one down the fairway and get screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's a great point. The thing that people always bring up is that, oh, then it becomes subjective. Like, what's a divot? What's a little indentation? I'm like, dude, all it has to have is some dirt in the little indentation. That's it. If it's all
Organic
grass
matter.
fill or
If you're supposed to be in the fairway, dropping 6 inches to the left doesn't do anything for you. Like,
no. If the divot has grass grown into it and there's no more dirt in it, okay, that's not a divot.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty cut and dry, I feel like.
right.
Really.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't cut and dry, like, I'm not. What am I improving? I'm supposed to be in the fairway. I'm putting myself back in the fairway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So that brings us to Korn Ferry Tour. You what was your most recent event in on
I just played the Dallas Korn Ferry event, Veritex Championship.
Veritex? Yeah.
Yep.
And you played well there. You got top 30? I don't have
Top,
it here.
yeah, 28.
Perfect. See, yeah. Top 28 is cooler than top 30. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. So what's next? What kind of status do you have right now? Are you doing Mondays? Do you have any kind of exemption status where you can go play event?
I'm in a weird situation now, especially because this season is so long. It's basically a double season. So what you have to do in order to, whatever your goal is, let's say keep your card or top 25, whatever the goal is, it's double as hard this season. The flip side of that, okay, you get to play more events. So you can, take whatever positive you want to, but I can probably get into a couple more Korn Ferry events just based on my number later this year. But it's to the point where later this year, if I get into Korn Ferry events, why even play? Like, it's already so late in the season. I have to make so many points to catch up to even like have a chance to keep my card. At that point, it's better for me to go play Latin America or Canada and at least have some sort of backup status somewhere. Because the sucky thing about Korn Ferry Tour is that you're one step away from the PGA Tour, but you're also one step away from having absolutely nothing. You have no status anywhere. So that's why
you're one step away from the Muni Tour.
Exactly. You guys need to make that happen. That's why, like, if I were to get in a couple more events, even if I were to get into some more Korn Ferry events and there's a Latin America event playing or Canada, whatever, I'll go play Latin America because it just doesn't make any sense status wise. Monday qualifiers, I just think they're financially so stupid, but I know I should be playing maybe a few more of them just because it's still a little bit early in the year and there's still plenty of tournaments left, but I'll play in a couple more maybe.
You look up to a certain player?
No, not really. Not anyone in particular.
You look down on any players?
All New
Patrick
Zealander,
Reed.
all the guys on the New Zealand tour.
No, dude, they're all great guys. Freaking love all of them.
Who's the most
Look down on Patrick Reed.
Who's the there you go.
There you go.
Who's the most famous person in your contacts?
Probably Abraham Answer,
There you go.
I think. Yeah.
And you're actually wearing his clothing, right?
Yeah. He just started a Black Quail, which is his apparel brand. So
Okay, we got the plug in there. I didn't even
Yeah.
ask for it, and we got the plug in there. Awesome.
Well, we'll have to.
You
We
set
should
me
plug
up.
your YouTube channel too, Luke Kwon Golf.
Yeah,
Yep.
honestly, if we
my
can,
name in golf.
Luke Kwon Golf YouTube channel.
Yep.
Go check him out.
28,000 subscribers.
Go check him
Right.
out. He is a top 5 in the order of merit on the PGA Tour China 2019. He's not top 6. He's Luke Kwon. Luke, this has been a lot of fun, my friend. One last final question for you.
I'm leaving with the Masters question.
Oh, yeah. We always do
Forgot
this.
that
This
one.
is the fun one. We
So
always forget it.
when we're all old watching the Masters, who's going to be the honorary 3 that start the Masters?
Oh,
Like Jack Arney and Gary did, like who's the
well, gotta have Tiger
he's also one.
if he can walk. I mean, hopefully.
He just needs to swing.
Tiger.
He just has to hit a tee shot. That's it.
I'll have a walker.
Tiger, gotta have Phil. What the 3 is though?
That's like 95% of everybody's answer
It-
for the
it
first
really
2.
is.
The third one's
Yeah.
always where you get your character out of it.
Maybe DJ. I think DJ's had a very understated last like 12, 13 years where he's won at least one event every single year. No one really notices that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he's been
Probably DJ.
ridiculous. He's like that guy that
Yeah.
he's got the perfect how do I say this? He's just got the perfect mentalness. He's
Yeah.
just an idiot. He just
doesn't care.
No,
he
I've
truly
always-
doesn't care. He's just
I've always said DJ has the perfect amount of stupid.
he does, man.
Yeah.
It's
It's just-
incredible.
Perfect. Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
got the perfect amount of smart too. Like he knows where he's
Yeah.
supposed to play, but like you can't catch that guy on a bad day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's freaking he's really good, obviously.
Rough Fairways is produced by Eddie Dunn and Mike Sells. I think the overall theme here, especially with Luke's episode, is guys and gals, don't ever give up on your dreams to play professional golf. Faced with having to leave the country where he lives and where he loves to live, all just to play golf, it's an awesome story. Luke, thank you so much for sharing your story. And listeners, thank you for listening. This has been Rough Fairways. Everybody, please be kind to each other.